Can we just take a few moments to acknowledge that this man right here, he managed to remove all of the salt from episode 14 with just those words alone? With him going out of his way to say, look, Hiro, talk with Zero Two, and Ichigo, be quiet, let Hiro talk with Zero Two. It only took this one dude, Goro, to be able to change everything. And I'm just like, incredible. This man has been absolutely incredible since his character introduction. He could have been petty. I mean, let's just take a few moments. Let's step back real quick and think about what Goro could have done in this episode. He could have legit been petty. He could have been super salty and decided to not help out Hiro at all because, everything that happened in last week. When he ran off after what Ichigo said in front of him, he ran off. And, we know he heard those words that Ichigo said towards Hiro. And so this man going out of his way, probably having some other ulterior motives, probably wanting to be with Ichigo, if you know what I'm saying. But okay, jokes aside though, just this man managed to not be petty, not be salty, and talk to Ichigo and Hiro for they can meet up with Zero Two, and I'm just like, give this man a medal. Give this man best boy of, 2018. Seriously, can this man have best boy of 2018? He seriously did such an amazing job with this week's episode. He saved everybody from endless salt that was pouring out from the entire anime community since last Saturday. Oh my god, the amount of salt that happened. Like, seriously. It's ridiculous how much the anime community got fired up because of the last episode. So, just seeing this, I'm glad everything can be put to rest. I am so glad that, finally the community can be at ease. We could chill down. We could enjoy the series instead of, going at each other's throats and stuff. So, I'm glad to see that. Anyways, this episode was absolutely perfect. I don't think that this episode could have been handled any other way, any better than it was. We managed to get closure to Zero Two and Hiro. We managed to see Ichigo develop as a person, Goro show how good of a person he is, and Hiro show that he's a really good main character. There was a lot of solid steps for character progression throughout this episode, and I'm just saying, good job, Darling and the FranXX and the entire team that has been writing this story. They are doing a fantastic job. So, let's talk about Ichigo, okay? Let's talk about what she changed, or how she changed in this episode. Now, I've already discussed my reasons why Ichigo did what she did, so I'm not gonna rehash what I said in my, last episode review in this video. I'm just gonna say that Ichigo, she realized in this episode that she could never have Hiro. She realized that there was just no place in Hiro's heart for her. And the reason how she was able to discover this is when they linked up and all that, she saw Hiro's memories flood into her, and she realized everything inside of Hiro right now was about Zero Two, Zero Two, Zero Two, Zero Two, and she realized that there's no place for her. He cares about Ichigo a lot, but there was no place for her inside of his heart romantically, and so she realized that she can't have him, so just let him be. Let him have what he wants. Let him have Zero Two. And so she became very mature in that moment and decided to help him out. So I really like that segment of the episode. It lets us know that Ichigo, she realizes that there's nothing she can do. She can't force these two apart. Hiro really is going far and beyond to be able to be with her, and she has no place or right to stop him, and that's why she backed down in this episode. So, really nice scene. Very good scene with her. I mean, I know many are going to figure out ways to probably hate on her in other ways, but it just shows maturity from her, the way she was able to let it go in that moment. Hiro's development surprised me in this episode. Let's think about his origin, what he started off as, okay? Hiro was a very quiet and very dull MC. He obviously wanted to pilot, okay? We knew that was his big drive. He wanted to get in the FranXX. That's what he always wanted, but that was about it. His character was very bland. He was a very stale character. And when you look at, Zero Two, she was someone that carried the series in a way when the series first started, and she was just like that lively character. And now when you see this episode, you see how Zero Two has changed him, and he's taking steps to try to change himself but also we see how he's taking steps to actually romantically chase after Zero Two and go and fight for what he really wants, instead of waiting around for something to fall into his lap, which he was kind of doing when the series first began. For instance, he was waiting to pilot something, and he never was able to, until Zero Two finally popped up and all that, and he was given a chance. But now, he actively went out of his way to fight to be able to pilot again, to be able to be with Zero Two, to be with the person that he loves. And that moment shows that he has manned up. The Nines are in reverse position. It's very obvious from the scene that the Nines are not human. I mean, we get to see yellowish horns on one of the Nines, Alpha, if I remember his name right, and so that indicates that he, at the very least, is not officially human. He is some form of Klaxosaur, half Klaxosaur like Zero Two. Now, we don't know exactly how different or how much percentage he is as a Klaxosaur and a human, but we know for a fact because of certain dialogue that happened, like when he was calling the other squad and all that, regular humans, that was indicating that he was definitely like a Klaxosaur, something like Zero Two. So this does give confirmation that they are a different type of squad. Most likely, I guess, mass-produced or perfected versions of Zero Two, because, I mean, when we look at Zero Two and then the other Nines, Zero Two is uncontrollable. She's like she's a beast in a way. You cannot tie her down. While the Nines, you could see that they're easy to control. They're easy to tamper with and do your bidding. And this is kind of what we've seen from the other squads as well. I mean, think about, all the other squads we've seen, or the squad that actually kind of ended themselves in this episode. They were following orders. Even though they were emotionally wrecked and all that and they didn't want to do it, they still followed orders. They did what they were told to do. And this does show that they're very obedient. And most likely, the Nines represent an obedient Zero Two. Most likely, Zero Two is a lot stronger than the regular Nines, but they still have a lot more strength than the normal soldiers that are on the battlefield, for instance, Ichigo and all of them, but also reverse positions, by the way. Oh my god, yo. But also, it makes me wonder if we can have two of the same gender in the cockpit. I wonder if we can have two guys or two girls in the same cockpit and all that. That is something that does need to be confirmed now because of the way that scene was done. Let's talk about how when the core cracked open like an egg, it revealed a human-like body. Now, this is something that I've been talking about for a while now. Ever since, the series first started, I've been talking about how the Klaxosaurs most likely are humans, and this episode pretty much confirms what many of us probably already knew by now, where the story was probably going to go. It confirms now that, yes, the Klaxosaurs in some way, they are human or they're operating off of humans. One or the other. That's the only two things that are possible right now. So the big thing I want to point out is that with this now being revealed, this gears us up to whatever the Klaxosaurs really are, and also what side Papa or Ape are really on. Now, it's been very obvious since the very beginning, and then with the latest info we got with what happened to Zero Two, that Ape, in general, they're not good dudes. They're not good people at all, especially with how they've been using these children, our main cast of characters. And now with this episode, it really gives us some transparency to how they really are and how they feel about everyone. Not just the children, the soldiers on the battlefield, but also the people that are in the hive-like domes. They're expendable to Ape, or in all the elders that are at the top. Because we see them even blow up one of the domes to be able to stop the Klaxosaurs in this episode. So they didn't just tell their soldiers, hey, end yourself to stop the Klaxosaur. They also used their own dome structure that had people in it to be able to stop the Klaxosaur, which proves that they do not care about human life at all, or the people that are in these domes. They only care about their own selfish desires. So it does paint them as bad people, very bad guys. If we didn't already know that before, after what, Dr. Frank was doing with Zero Two. But now we truly know that majority of the guys at the top, they are evil. And so, it makes me wonder, what is their true objective? What are they doing? And what is the Klaxosaurs? Now, if I had to assume anything, I'm going to assume that the Klaxosaurs are an experiment gone wrong. That's just what I'm assuming. It's a typical cliche type of route, but even if they go something very cliche, saying that, humans, made this, and then it was experiment gone wrong, and here you go, it can still be done properly. And it would definitely fit with a lot of things that the series has been trying to do with the whole Ava vibes and all of that. And so I would really like that type of element if we find out that the Klaxosaurs all along were the good guys. They actually were trying to stop Ape from doing whatever heinous crap they've been doing. We know that they've been using the magma and all that, but they're using it for something. We don't know exactly what, but it's very clear that the Klaxosaurs, there is some form of, like, major leader that is protecting them or mass producing them. Like, we see a giant hand at the end of the episode just pop up out of the ground, grab these egg-like sacs, which is the cores, which now we know have human-like bodies in them, and drags them back underground. This is scary, because, number one, that's just a hand. And the hand obviously has to be attached to a body, okay? It has to have an original source attached to it. So, if I had to assume anything, and judging by what we were seeing in this episode with the Klaxosaur with a bunch of cores in it, I want to assume that big hand is like the, I guess, mother in a way. The mother of the Klaxosaurs, probably the main central consciousness of the Klaxosaurs, and probably is what's really causing all the Klaxosaurs to keep coming back. And most likely, since the Klaxosaurs are drawn to magma, I want to assume that this creature, whatever it is, the Klaxosaur, is very deep underground with the magma, and it's just, you know, birthing more Klaxosaurs and then sending them out to be able to stop whatever Ape is trying to do. Maybe the Klaxosaurs all along, they actually were just its own separate race or creature, and then humanity decided to drill inside of the magma reserves or whatever, and then unlock this creature, and then now it's just trying to protect its home or something. That could be a potential possibility, but then it doesn't explain why there's a core inside of them, so there's just a lot of questions right now. But, I mean, the big point, though, is that it seems like the Klaxosaurs are probably the good guys. And as with all Trigger shows, I know this isn't, like, fully Trigger working on it, but when it comes to the shows they work on, they usually make the first half of the series very small in scale, and then the second half gears up for this grand worldwide problem. I mean, it's happened a lot in their series. I mean, let's think of Kill la Kill for a second, when it geared up for the second half, and it was a big problem with life fibers and stuff. So, I mean, seeing this with the Klaxosaur and a giant hand coming out of the ground, I want to assume that the series is going to go on to planetary scale. Like, for instance, the stakes are going to be the level of the planet. If something is not done with either the Klaxosaurs or Ape, the planet's going to be completely in danger. One or the other is possibly going to happen. So yeah, information this week was pretty nice. So moving into the next segment before I end this video, I would like to talk about I Love You segment, not trying to forget memories, all that type of stuff that happened with, you know, Hiro and 02. That scene was just absolutely refreshing after the sad episode we got last week. The visuals to the way the character expressions were done in that scene, with just seeing how 02 was so lively. It's like, don't look at me and all that, I'm a monster, and how Hiro is not trying to, you know, think bad about her, he accepts her and all that, and then just the memories, her remembering and all that, and how, you know, she tried to contain the memories inside of her, and she literally ate the picture book to be able to preserve the memories. It was very symbolic, and so I just liked these scenes. It was beautiful, and it shows that these two, without these two being together, they're not whole. They're not one person, which also represents marriage in a way, because in marriage, when you marry someone, you get with someone, they're supposed to be your other half. You know, the saying goes, when you get with someone, you know, my better half or my other half, that's what someone says about their, you know, wife or husband. Well, basically, that's kind of what is being signified here, that Hiro and 02, they are one person because they're bonded so tightly that, you know, without each other, they're just half of a person. They complete each other. It's not just the symbolism for the bird with, you know, two wings and all that, but it's also marriage in general. That's kind of what that scene signifies. So, good stuff from Darling in the Franxx. I really like the way the series is going. This is a really good episode to kind of just showcase how the last week's episode was necessary for this episode, and it was handled right. So tell me your thoughts. How do you feel about this week's episode of Darling in the Franxx? Are you satisfied? Are you happy with what happened with 02 and Hiro? Are you still upset with Ichigo? Please be honest in the comments below. And with that, I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. Chibi out.